That would be
I'm not having
yeah. That's a
not
bad
yeah.
truck lingo.
You are failing today, sir.
Let's do it. Hello, it is I, the Horace Towns, coming to you live from South Florida. Tonight, I will be in charge of this group that you know around the world as the Black Super Friends. We're internationally known to hold a microphone, but
y'all get stupid. I mean outrageous. Stay away from me if you're contagious. Know I'm a winner. Know how to lose it. The BNMC is what I choose. The ladies love me. Girls adore me. I mean, even the ones that never saw me like. That's it. Let me go.
boy, ain't nobody coming there live like that. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Black Super Friends. I am your host. Just got through frying up some chicken because that's the things that modern black men do right now. We can cook too. First, I'm gonna go to my brother who just came in through customs. He must have not have got the tip that I gave him because somehow he's still on screen. You will know him tonight as Zayd, the international ladies man.
Please don't forget the international ladies man. Yes, I made it, and they didn't because it's in me, not on me. How you like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. They're gonna check your ass next time, literally.
They will not do no such thing.
Teleboo rugs and vats. Hello. Next, I'm going to my brother outside the ATL. You will know him for all his exploits as he's taking a country ride in a Harley Davidson, or if he got the drop top on his vintage Chevrolet. And you will know him as the father of Super Mario Jr. He's part of the Silver Fox Club a little early, but you would know him tonight as Super Mario Sr.
Greetings and salutations. Greetings.
All right, next I'm going to the man that somehow y'all love. I'm hated now, and now y'all love him. He's the architect of confusion, the person that gets us the most fines, the person who will hit you with some wise lines time to time, and he's also known to be the world famous date doctor. I introduce to you the Chris Leo.
Thank you, Horace. Normally, I take this time to, say hello to everybody, but I want to take this time to give a special shout out and congratulations. We had an epic fight this weekend, and I want to give a big shout out to Ryan Garcia. And the reason why, because he's continuing the fight and the protest against police brutality. He used his platform to have a silent protest while taking a knee right there in the ring. Colin Kaepernick would be super proud of him. While these other cowards have stopped the fight, he continues to stand up against, he continues to kneel against police brutality. Right on, all right, Garcia, you are an ally. Peace.
I see what you did with that there.
Yeah, I tell you what, whether it's liquor or a stiff punch, your liver will quiver and it will deliver the pain that you never thought that you needed in this lifetime. Shout out to Javante Davis, who resides in Palm Beach County. One time for my light-skinned brother, Champ. Shameless plug. All right, you know what? Where do I start at tonight? I'm going to give y'all a confession. I wanted to watch one episode and then I stopped watching it. I didn't watch Snowfall for two reasons. One, you ain't got to watch a TV show because between Facebook and Twitter, people going to tell the damn show, they're going to give you a summary every episode. They might even post some clips. Second of all, it actually triggered me watching the show. And for various reasons. Like I said, our community was vibrant, and I still remember when drugs came into the community and it kind of changed lives forever. So what was y'all thoughts on the season finale of Snowfall? The show is no more, and the ending. I don't know if y'all watched Snowfall, but it seemed to be a talked about thing this week, how the main character started and how it ended. What were your thoughts? Who watched Snowfall?
I think we all did.
Okay, go ahead, Mario.
I think it was very indicative of what the game is. I think that the craziest thing about Snowfall is that Franklin, of all the stuff he went through and the things he did in life, I was hoping that some kind of way he come back and become this big drug lord and take over. Then when you really think about that, that's definitely not the thinking you should have as a grown ass 40-year-old man who pays taxes. But it's just something about the villain coming from where we come from that makes us want to see that person win. It hurt me more than Nino going down, more than Big Meech going to jail, more than Ghost dying. And it's crazy because all those people had fates that was way worse because he was still free. But was he? Because that's the hurt and that's the worst place that you want to be is in the streets, homeless, down, out, bad, and worse than you ever went. And I think that I seen a post, I'm gonna let this go, say, I hope the kids understand that they watching all these series that the ending of Ghost was death. The ending of Big Meech, we know that is almost life. And the ending of Franklin is what? Almost a bum. So understand it's only 3 ways you're going out the game. It's only 3 ways. So you know what I'm saying? So just it was hurtful though. I ain't gonna lie to you to see him go out like that and to see we could talk about this all day because there was so many traumatic ending parts of that ending that really made me upset, especially the mama. But we're gonna leave that for another episode.
Well, the show was partly based on true stories. Second of all, we've seen that story over and over and over in every urban community. So I thought it was a good twist. Zay, you got cable? You watch that show?
Yeah, I got cable sometime. I don't want to be redundant because Hardy did articulate a lot of everything that would have probably been said because there are only 3 ways out. You know, every now and again there's an anomaly that escapes through the cracks, but just like we said with the ladies last week, that's not normal. It's not the normality or the normalcy for that. It does hurt though, because if you watch that Snowfall series, Franklin has faced some feats. And I think when it came down to it, it all boils down to decision making and all his great decision making and everything that he's come through. The one decision that he needed to make, which was to tap out, he didn't. He went for the greed, and that's where it left him. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of people get left because they don't know when enough is enough, or when God is telling you exit, exit now, because that next step is going to be your life. Whether it's a life of vagrancy where you are a bum, whether it's a life of 6 feet under, or it is a life of incarceration, it is your life. So. Damn good series. It's what I got out of it. Hope they got the same lesson.
I don't know how y'all didn't get triggered from that. Chris Leo.
Well, I was triggered. I was 100% triggered. I thought I was torn on this one. First off, I want to say I think that Snowfall is the greatest series I've ever watched, period. I put it right up there with Ozark. I put it right up there with Game of Thrones. I put it right up there with Power. I put it right up there with Sopranos, Wire. I put it right up there with that. I think it's the greatest show a series I watched. What I think it taught us, the biggest lesson it taught us is don't do dirty work with women. Do not do dirty work with women. All those women that Saint looked out for crossed them. Wanda, he gave her a job. She turned into a crackhead, then turned around and turned his woman into a crackhead. Melody, she turned around and shot him. Then you got Louis, who went behind his back, stole his plug, and you got his mama shot Teddy before he died. I mean, before he could give him the money. Then you got Vernique, who took his $800,000 and flew the country with his unborn child. As opposed to, and that's crazy how Vernique did that, but as opposed to Gustavo's wife, who he was a murderous, backstabbing, snitching, bad guy too. His wife called him and said, "Hey, we miss you and we want to see you." Teddy, terrible man, murderer, backstabbing, snitch, whatever. His wife, he was about to marry the woman that he got shot, but Veronique didn't pilt on Franklin. I think that it was sad to see Franklin go out like that. I believe that Franklin is our our Scarface. I think that Franklin is our Nino Brown. I mean, we got to see Franklin go from selling nickel bags of weed to getting a key, then bringing back that same key in 24 hours, 12,000 to Avi, losing the key, losing keys, getting it back, and then becoming the drug dealer he is. So I hate that he went out like that, because I think Franklin is much better than that. That character is much smarter, much cunning. He's a murderer now. He could have took that same $12,000 and bumped up. So I hate that he went out like that. I love that they gave that big homage to Boys in the Hood at the end of the episode. That scene about them shooting that movie, that's actually Boys in the Hood. And if you look at it, it's an Easter egg. Them kids are dressed up like Ricky, Trey, and Doughboy. And then he says, "You're not gonna get an Oscar," and that's true. But they got nominated for an Oscar. So I just hate to see Franklin go out like that. You know what I'm saying? I just hate this. I really, really hate to see that. But overall, I thought it was an amazing series. I honestly think it got ruined for me, because before I seen that image of Franklin. So I think that when I finally did see it, it kind of took that sting away from me. I don't know if y'all guys remember, I said I thought it was mild, and I think that was the reason why, because I seen that image. So stop trying to spoil it for everybody, y'all. But yeah, I thought it was a dope series.
Let me say something before we go to the next, if you don't mind, real quick. You know, the most impactful part of that was when he looked and said, when he was asking Teddy, you could have took you didn't have to take everything from me. You could have left me $5 million. I would have came after you, but at least I would have known that you cared about me and my services at some point. Mm-hmm. And then he kept asking him, why did you do this to me? And see, what happened when you were in season 6 is you forgot, like Chris alluded to, how he started, like who Franklin was. And when he asked him, why did you T-bone me? And he said, you was manipulating me from the whole time. Because and then Teddy said the biggest answer that people need to understand is, this is bigger than you. Mm-hmm. I did all this for America. I don't think people like, bro, I'm funding a war that helps you be able to stay here and be a crackhead for free. There's some bad guys who want to hurt America. And when you think about the war on drugs and all how people always talk about how they fled the community with drugs, that was really telling you, the casualties was the Black lives to save America. So once again, slavery, Jim Crow, then the drug was not about killing us. It was about using us to fund a war to save America again. So once again, the Black lives was made to save America. It's just so, there's some points in that movie. It was a great series. And it wasn't better than Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it was triggering to me.
I think it's better than Breaking Bad.
Listen, I think The Wire is the greatest of all time, but it's because I relate to The Wire. Second of all, when I looked at the thing that triggered me, like I say, Riviera Beach was amazing. But I remember when crack hit, we didn't know what it was, because think about it, most of our parents at the time worked and they did a lot of parties. It was a lot of weddings. But when that hit, for me to see, some of your principals and teachers, policemen, like you would see people walking the streets, and like I seen my homeboy mama, walking the street. Like you've seen some of the most craziest situations. And I remember seeing drive-bys in broad daylight. Like for our city to go downhill in like 6 months was like amazing. Like I seen some stuff walking through alleys. You know what I mean? That's the stuff we've seen, I think, was traumatic for us as kids. And I think me getting in the office, I told somebody one day, I said, it's almost like people chase a high. I got in the office wanting to see my city return to what it could be. So kind of like I was chasing a dream as well. Yes, Chris.
The double down on your point, man. Imagine a group of people from Ruleville, Mississippi, like a rural town in Mississippi, coming here in '85 in the middle of that. Like that's why I don't blame a lot of my uncles, my aunties, my mom by being on that, because these people coming from country beginnings. You put them right here in Palm Beach, in the middle of the crack epidemic. You know what I'm saying? We I'm happy that I didn't lose more of my family members to that. But I put myself in that position of y'all green, y'all don't know nothing, and then boom, city life. Just like that.
Yeah, I'm from SL, so that was probably one of the biggest places. And then y'all forget they had a strategic law one time where we were open carry for a little while. So you actually had people walking around during the Reagan years with shotguns and trench coats and stuff, man. It got wild in Riviera Beach. So, like I said, just those visuals and certain things I would never forget. Because, like I say, man, you was at a point where you could leave your door unlocked. And then I remember 6 months later, one of our neighbors, he was in our house. We wake up. I mean, it's like 9 o'clock. He and I stealing meat out of our deep freezer. You know what I mean? This was a respectable dude. Now he the neighborhood crackhead. You know what I mean? So God bless Black America. So what I did with that. Hey, so let me ask y'all something. Since we talking about media, you know what? Forget it. I'll go first to this. Let's go off script. Do y'all care about Don Lemon getting fired? Let's be 100 with it. I'm going to give y'all my take. Listen, Tucker got fired. He'll rebound. You know what I mean? A lot of people make money off him. Fox had to settle a defamation lawsuit, was almost $900 million. So I could get them firing him. He was a liability. Don Lemon, people was writing me, y'all should talk about it. Don Lemon got fired after 17 years. And then I'm like, did you ever watch any of his segments? This is my personal view. Like, name something that Don Lemon talked about that I felt defended me or represented me. No, I didn't feel no kind of way. And it's a business. That's why I always tell people it's important to build your brand. So, like Tucker going to get offers from everywhere. But I feel like Don made himself so exclusive to Fox. And it might have been in his contract. But now he might be going down to the chitlin circuit. He might have to get a local news job. But I don't recall those moments where I look for Don to say something impactful or courageous. I did not see that from him. And that's just my take on it. So I don't run the fight for every Negro. I hate to see a Negro lose a job, but, it is what it is. Chris Leo, any thoughts on Don Lemon?
Yeah, absolutely. I hate this. I think it's unfortunate. I don't know the man personally, but I root for the man simply because in my sister ordeal, he gave a great interview and he was sympathetic to my sister's situation when she got shot in the face by the Fort Lauderdale police. So I don't have any beef with that man. That man on that interview, was respectful to my sister and he seemed like he gave a damn. So I don't have no beef with him.
Say.
It's always unfortunate to see a black man lose his job, especially after you put in the time and the sweat equity, as we always talk about. However, like you said, that's the way the cookie crumbled for him in life. I don't think that that's the end of it. He's still going to be successful in life. It just won't be where he was. And it's okay. Life goes on. He's not dead.
You don't know what he got there. You put that thing back on. So this is what I be talking about, Derek Burns. We be defending people. Don Lemon did not. He was not a friend of yours, but that's just my opinion. Super Mario Senior.
I don't know about this one. This is one of them ones that stumped me. I did a lot of research on this, and I was up and I was down. And first, of course, I don't want to see nobody get fired. I heard Chuck on NBA on TBS. What is it? TBS. Say there's two things I don't want to do on here. Say I'm happy that somebody got fired and talk about somebody's personal life. So I'm gonna take a note off of his thing because I don't really want to see. I got one thing. I don't really like to see people get fired. You know what I'm saying? Because for some reason, if you got the job, then hey, do your job. You know what I'm saying? I think Don, what he represented and what they wanted him to represent, he did good. So I feel like as much as he did for Fox, if they can fire him. If I was a black anchor trying to go work at Fox, I would be very hesitant. I say that. As much as he put Fox to the forefront of his life, amongst all the views he stood for Fox. If I was African American and I worked for Fox, I wasn't planning on working for Fox, I would be very hesitant, or I would work understanding that I've seen the greatest implement of what they want in their system get let go. And from his mouth, he got let go and they didn't even tell him. They called his agent and told him. So sometimes it's just disrespectful the way you get fired. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this last thing. One of my homeboys pointed this out to me. The paper wrote that Tucker Carlson, they parted ways with Tucker Carlson, and they fired Don Lemon.
That Don Lemon got in trouble with that by saying that comment about that woman, and that's what got him. That was a nail in the coffin. Put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
She was past a prime or something like that, or I don't know. I forgot. I don't want to misquote it.
Zay.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the hoopla that they started. You know, they always start a paper trail before they get rid of you. So you know, they started with the drinking and the New Year's and the singing or whatever. But he was on his way out, I believe. Then they just didn't tell him until the day. So
Hey, Zay, they didn't start that. Nobody told him to get on New Year's countdown looking like Paul Pierce.
100%. I will not doubt that. And I know they do that paper trail deal.
In his defense, I will say this: when you're on a major platform like that, they looking for disciplined Negroes to just do a job. That probably tight cash where you ain't about to get you ain't gonna get bigger than the platform. And I think he stayed in them lines, and when he came out of those lines, that's when the paper trail probably started. You know what I mean? Or it could be when he came out about. No, maybe not. I was about to say his fiance. I don't know if he ever got married to Tim Malone, a wealthy Caucasian real estate investor, but that might be an issue as well, you know. So I don't see the ladies going too hard once they find that out. So
going them too hard.
Huh?
Them two going too hard.
You got me there. It was a bing, bing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so since we talk about the media, let me get back on it. Jonathan Majors and Antonio Brown. This week you see Antonio Brown walking on the field and being kind of harassed by security, not knowing that he's partial owner of the team that was playing. Then you got Jonathan Majors, who, as much as they highlighted all of the accusations and allegations, now stuff is being recanted. You don't hear so much about, none of the story falling apart. I want to ask y'all, what are y'all thoughts on, like, it's so visible how the media portrays us. And I always tell you, we are the biggest stars on primetime TV, radio, or any media publications. What was y'all thoughts on all of this between those two scenarios? Even with the child support story that they blast on Antonio Brown, and then he gets on and show the receipts. Do we need to require some responsibility from the media, or is that just a pointless attempt? Zay?
I think Denzel said something about the media a while ago, and I think that's very true, which is they once had a duty to report the news accurately. Now they just in a rush to report it first. And when it's inaccurate, they're not quick to clean up the mess that they stirred up. So that's a very good point that you made, and I think that's that. With Antonio Brown, they've already been trying to put a light on him. Now, don't get me wrong. The brother has done his fair share to make sure that he gets that light casted on him. But this time was not that. And again, like I said, that paper trail, first you see the story about the altercation, then the next thing you know, they start talking about money issues or child support issues and stuff. And it's all defamation of his character. What happened is if that security guard guy hadn't got fired, he needed to be. Because why would you do that to an owner? You wouldn't do that to any other owner. And how did you not know it? Because somebody told you. But who am I? I don't own any teams. I'm just looking on the sideline. And for Jonathan Majors, sorry about that. I don't know. It's unfortunate for him. I hope that brother the best with it. I don't know how true any of it is. We don't know until it all comes out, whether it's through court litigation or whatever it may be. But that's a hard one. They put him in a light. They dressed him up in pink. They made him all, relatable for the women. They came to bat for him. And then pops out this monster, allegedly. And I think that's right up there with what Mario always talks about. Guys play. They play a certain character to get what they want. He could have been doing the pink and all of the good stuff for the women and been an abuser the whole time. We don't know, but we'll find out. But that's what I got on that.
Ain't nothing like when that monster pop out. Chris Leo.
What she said.
I think to answer your question about the media, they don't owe us nothing. We have to control our own narrative. We have to search for our own voice. When you look on YouTube, you need to look for someone telling you the news that looks like you. And if you have to sift through a couple of them, sift through them. Look at these podcasts. Just like one of ours. Look and get your news outlet from somebody that looks like you. There's a lot of media out there, and you can choose from that. As far as Antonio Brown, I honestly don't give a damn what happens to Antonio Brown, as long as it's not fatal or violence towards him. He's done some questionable things to me, not to me, but in my opinion, in my opinion, and I whatever happens to him, I just wish the man the best, but I don't give a damn. As far as Jonathan Majors, I mean, we see it coming. We've seen this coming. They're not going to let this go. It's over with. They're going to continue to do it. It's like the lady recanted it. Now all of a sudden he got accusers popping up out of nowhere. They're not letting this go. And for one, this is how the feminist movement work. If they want you, they're going to get you. They will use women as weapons to come against you. And I think their message is we do not accept any violence towards women. I mean, absolutely zero. Well, unless you're Dana White and do it on camera. But other than Dana White, they have a zero tolerance for any kind of violence against women. Well, unless you're Brittany Griner, who has a history of being her wife. But other than that, they're going to let the feminist movement is not letting this shit go. They're coming after everybody who has violence against women. They were the women that's taking over sports, biological men taking over sports. The feminist movement is coming out. Well, maybe not. The point I'm trying to make is Jonathan Majors is over with, man. And I hate to see it for your brother, but the feminists got on to you, and it's a wrap. Turn your mic on. You are a professional.
Before the ladies join us, Super Mario Sr.
Hey, I was just gonna say I was hoping Chris. I know he was going with that. I was hoping that Antonio Brown and make him put that shit on. So, I think that I don't like to say and do this because I like to have my own voice, but I agree in totality about Antonio Get Down Brown. I was happy now that he had receipts for the child support because there's some labels they throw on you with no stigma, just ride your back. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy he had receipts for that, but this guy right here has been asking for it. So you know what I'm saying? I wish him and Jonathan could switch right now, just to be truthfully, you know what I'm saying? But Jonathan, I think that sometimes you got to understand what side you're on. Almost to allude what Chris saying, like, you know what I'm saying? No matter how much I care, no matter how much I want to, you can't afford to not be a black man. You can't afford it. I understand that you might sympathize with any side or any group or any other group. You might sympathize with them. You might empathize with them. You might feel their plight. But you cannot afford to not be simply a black man and put yourself and your culture first. And anytime you get out of that lane or you push any other agenda that's not that first, then hey, you get what you get. And that's just how I feel. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm a little harsh, but I feel like we need as much spokespeople as we can possibly get in totality as us. I need my son to have a man he can look to, a man who speaks like me. I need all of that. We're hurting out here. So anytime you representation, anytime you play the line and do that, I don't like it, and you get what you get.
Well, the good Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mario, says that they do not allow those Negroes that we need on major platforms for us to see. You got to see through it, brother. That is what we're taught in the Honorable Quran, okay? I'm not Muslim, so please, people, don't call Vicky right. I know I got it.
Metamucil of the capital in Zimbabwe, my brother Metamucil.
Okay. Robert Najee. Listen, so I like this because we get to turn things over for a little bit. Tonight we're joined by well, I guess the fans request this also often. They always love when the ladies come on, even though I think the ladies agree with us most of the time. But they were asking for these two young ladies to join. I'll address this later. We're asking for these young ladies to join the cast tonight, and they had questions for us. So joining the cast tonight is Dr. Tamiko Manning and Dr. April Givens. Thank you for joining the BSF podcast. How are you guys?
Better known as Too Legit to Quit.
Hey, y'all. Hey, you all. How are you?
Wow, handsome.
Good.
Okay.
How y'all doing this nice evening?
Good.
It's raining down here. It ain't so nice.
Oh.
Okay. Well, let's get right into it. Dr. Givens, I asked you. Yes, Chris.
You put me between the ladies.
Sandwich you have.
You like that.
Whatever you like. All right, listen.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. So I was talking to Dr. Givens today, and I always try to, minister, and we go back and forth at times, and we have our debate topics. And she had a question for us tonight. And I don't know if it's, true or not, but it's a good conversation. Dr. Givens said, why are some men emotionally unavailable? Is that just it? That's just a broad question, or do you have more in depth that you want to give us, Dr. Givens?
No, that's just a broad question. I wanted to, pose it to the fellas so y'all can give y'all vast knowledge on the topic, and then I'll speak on it from a therapist standpoint.
We don't like therapy over there now.
That's all right.
All right. He's the ladies' man, so why are some men emotionally unavailable, Zay?
Shit, it's probably rejection. I mean, you gotta act. Have you paid attention to social media lately? Because I think that's where most of the new guys get all of their tutelage from. And it's thirsty this, and he bothering me that, and all this other stuff. So how do you attach an emotion to someone who shows you that they don't want to instead of keep pushing back? That's just what I see. I don't know, but that's a question back. And that could be the answer. Maybe it's that the person that wants the emotion kind of comes off a little rigid. Kind of hard to be emotional or sensitive with them, but who knows?
All right, I'm going to take it up slowly. Super Mario, because I know when I get to Chris Leo, it's going to go.
This is not that kind of show. We're just going to take it to the next person.
Thank you, assistant producer. Super Mario Senior.
Where would you be without me?
Yeah, let me count the ways. Super Mario Senior.
That's an interesting question. You know what I'm saying? So when you asked that, I was like, wow, I don't even know how to answer that because I don't.
I'm ready for it.
I don't know if men are emotionally. I don't think, you know what I'm saying. You say most men or some men. I think that's a hard question because I don't really know too many people who actually emotionally unavailable. I think that a lot of them emotionally have checked out and they don't want to be available. But I don't think it's a thing of like, can they not be? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I got from that question. Like, why can't they? You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times they just don't want to because sometimes it don't seem marketable. Like, I don't think women market to men emotions anymore. I think most of the marketing from women are coming from their pockets or from some form of demand that they created in the media that they want. At this point, it's somebody sensitive. This next month is going to be somebody who does this. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really hear too many women actually beat the foundation of, I want a man that truly loves me and empathizes with me and all that. I don't hear that to the forefront. I hear women talk about it in small groups, but I don't see that propaganda being pushed. So I think it's a lot about the marketing that women are giving to get men. I don't think it's calling for emotions.
I would say this. I'm ready for this one. Most men aren't raised to be emotional at all. Think about how we raised, not to cry, be tough. So we, like I always say, we raised like pit bulls. But at the same time, I say for me, some men are raised coming from that boys to men is a little traumatic. The development is based on producing. So I always tell people I didn't even start to tinker with emotional intelligence till I was in my mid-30s. I wasn't raised to be emotional. I was hurt inside at funerals. I'm not allowed to cry. Disappointment, not allowed to cry. I had a father who they didn't even want you to hug him. You being soft, you acting like a sissy. So I think once we get to a place where we get with a woman or somebody we trust, we'll start to unpack that stuff. Or we get to a financial place where we're open to, like, I got a little time to start to figure out who I am. We'll dig into who we are emotionally. But the bad thing about this era is you two ladies come from an era where y'all was dying for a man to be emotional, show you some vulnerability, show you he care and all that. But in this era, that man gets exploited. That man is gonna be all of those things, emotional and vulnerable. And man, these women don't respect that. If you look at rap lyrics, he a sucker, he a lame. We gonna play him. I'm gonna take him some money. I'm gonna be with this dude, but I'm gonna get, I'm gonna have a connection with this dude for various reasons. So that emotional aspect, I think, is tricky. But I know until I was 35-ish, I didn't even know what emotional intelligence were. Never heard the phrase. And then the person that introduced it to me, I kind of rejected it for a long time. I fought back on it, but they were pretty much like a therapist too. And at some point, because I cared and I started to listen, then I started to unpack. God damn it, this person. Then I started to unpack what emotional intelligence was or my emotions. You know what I mean? So that is my honest truth, and I wish anybody would kick back on that. Chris Leo.
I think it's always shocking to me when I hear women ask this question. I think it's full of shit. I think it's cap. I 100% think it's cap.
What's
I think that no woman I know haven't seen a man mad, and most women have seen their men mad. That's an emotion. If you see him mad, notice what happened, and if you truly care, don't do that shit again. That's an emotion. Okay, so now have you seen him happy? Yeah, you probably seen him happy. Whatever, check out the surrounding and see what's going on when he's happy. Try to repeat that if you really give a damn about his happiness. I see men laughing and shit instead of caring about what he's laughing about. A lot of time you want to tell us what's funny, what's not funny, and who face we can't be laughing in. I've seen men show concern, but a man concern is worthless if it doesn't have a monetary value to it. If it doesn't have a physical effort into it, you can't just tell a woman you care. It doesn't have a value to it. So you get a lot of emotions. Even like imagine fear. Imagine telling your lady every time you scared. That ain't gonna go over well. They're just not gonna respect it. I have never seen a woman tell me she slept with a man because he told her he was scared of something, or told her how nervous he was. That don't turn women on. So I think men constantly showing emotions. You gotta care about a man's emotions. You gotta respect it and then appreciate it. And then he continue to show you those emotions. But if a man is sitting, want to be left alone, that's an emotion. That's how he handles that emotion. Instead of you coming over and saying, well, you making it about you, you're wrong for wanting to be by yourself. That's how we handle our emotions. So I think that we talk, we show our emotions. I don't think nobody give a damn about it. So that's how I think about it.
I think women like men that show emotions that cater to their, I don't want to say insecurities, but I don't know, they have confirmations. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but
this is what we mean when we say emotionally unavailable. So I think Mario probably gave the best answer. When men check out or so, or maybe he's been in a situation where he's had someone previous that didn't really care about his emotions. So women, when we say a man is emotionally unavailable, that means that he's not being or he's not willing to be vulnerable with us. He puts up this wall. He shuts down. So when you're getting to know someone, let's say me and you get to know each other and we're communicating, going out, having fun, but I'm letting you know things about me and your guard is still up. You're just not saying anything, not letting me know nothing about you. Continuously. This may go on for maybe about 4 or 5 days and his wall is still up. He's not saying anything, or maybe he's so passionate about her to where he's not going to say nothing because he's scared to be vulnerable and scared that she's going to take advantage of him and run off and break his heart if he allows himself to be vulnerable. So emotionally unavailable means having the ability to be vulnerable with your partner and being able to communicate your feelings. If it's something that that person is not doing or what you want them to do, you're able to communicate that. At this point, we're adults. And so, like Horace said, we don't come from that era to where, it's all about this, all about that. Me and Dr. Samika, we would like a man to be emotionally available, meaning that, hey, we appreciate you if you can communicate how you feel and what's going on. I've had men tell me that, hey, I'm scared, X, Y, and Z. This is why I behave this way. And I appreciate the honesty. I hold him to a higher pedestal because he was able to be honest and tell me how he felt so we can move forward. Men who not tend to ghost you, tend to not communicate their emotions, are full of a whole lot of baggage, run away, deal with women from one night stand to one night stand because they don't want to open up.
I think, listen, wait a minute, I'm going to Dr. Manning. Listen, I think most men want purpose. Either they still chasing their purpose or they self-absorbed. But like I say, they don't got time for emotion. They still trying to work and they struggling. They're going through the struggle. Sorry, Chris and Dr. Manning.
Okay, no, you're fine. And I also wanted to add to that. We're not talking about men that have checked out or that are not interested. We are talking about men that are fully interested, invested in the relationship, but there are times when they shut down. For example, pillow talk. You said that it's a turn off for some women, but I say it's a turn on because a lot of times when a man is vulnerable, we open up also. And when that happens, you feel that connection and you want to be connected emotionally, physically, and everything else with that person. So again, I just wanted to add that. I mean, I'm talking about situations like having a hard day at work, him being able to actually articulate that and you support that man. But of not coming home and not saying anything, having an attitude, you have all this stuff bottled up. But it's because you need to share that, but you don't want to feel weak in sharing that situation. That's what we're talking about when we say emotionally unavailable.
You mean emotional? So that's like emotional neglect, you feel? Chris?
I got to see the receipts. I got to see the receipts. You tell me that you like these men. Obviously, you have experienced these men. Why aren't you not with these men? Why aren't these men coming back and saying, look, I pillow talk with Dr. April, and boy, that BJ after that pillow talk was amazing. I opened up and talked to Dr. Tamika, and boy, she was so submissive from there. I need receipts. Show us these guys that y'all done had this experiences with, and y'all stuck with, and was submissive to, and cared about, and pumped up. It seems as though you want the exact opposite guy to do that stuff. But you seem as though you're attracted to the opposite guy. I can't understand how you let Casanova slip to your hands. I just can't understand it, ladies.
But who said we have? We didn't say that we
every man you've ever been with was emotionally unavailable.
No.
You had to experience it one time.
Yes.
I don't understand. Why didn't you stay with that man?
We have experienced it in the past. Doesn't mean that we're still experiencing it. We're just posing a question of why are some men like that? And I mean, women come to me in counseling all the time, and that's the question that they ask. But I also counsel a lot of men, all different races. And men talk about from their standpoint how they feel about it. Maybe they was checked out, they wasn't feeling the lady, or it's a lot of different things. They have some emotional things that were going on with them in their life, and they don't want to let someone get too close. They understand it's hurting her, but on the flip side, it's like, okay, I'd rather hurt her than allow her to at some point hurt me if I let my guard down and be vulnerable.
I got a question.
It's leverage.
So
It's
the
leverage.
women, hold on a second. The women want the man. I feel like y'all want the man that's not emotionally, like he's just shut off, and you want to be the one to win him over.
No, not at all.
That's definitely not it.
I think what you were talking about though, Dr. April, is true, and most men think that it's leverage. One of the things that Dr. Manning had mentioned was like pillow talking. Horace talked about this, and I think he articulated great. I say this all the time. We were taught by men who didn't know what the hell they were doing, how to be men. And the number one rule they told us was never pillow talk. You don't do that as a man. So, if a woman thinks that that's checking out, then again, culturally, we've been taught not to pillow talk. Now, as you get older and you start to mature and you have a wife and you're moving in that direction, that's not pillow talking. Y'all have a partnership that y'all have to be on one accord about. But if you're dating, that man has to feel safe or secure to do that, because oftentimes right now in today's dating circuit, you open up too many times, that's a weak A nigga. Or something else, or it's used as leverage later on when something is dysfunctional between you two, so that you can step on him or demean him. Not saying you guys do it, but that's what oftentimes happens to most guys who you're running into that you're thinking is not emotionally available. They just have tried that before and it didn't work out in their favor, so they are not really apt to do that again. But like I said in the beginning, though, you got to look at what they're using as their dating tools. Most of them is social media. When you get on social media, Mario said that there are small pockets of women who talk that good talk, but the ones who are loud and the ones that we hear, that makes the bunch spoiled, they don't talk like that. They don't make no man feel safe about his real feelings. So he does become standoffish, distant, because he's trying to get it together as far as, can I engage this woman, or screw that, I'm out. Like she said, a whole bunch of one night stands, I think, because they understand me better at that time, whatever the case may be. But again, I'm a fly on wall. I don't know. I'm just telling y'all.
Men definitely when they feel safe and they trust a woman.
I was going to say what Deron just said, and I was thinking about it when they was talking. I was like, that is one part, because I think you got to feel safe enough, right, with the person to feel like it's, or even that it's worth it, right? But then again, I started thinking, I was like, well, that's almost kind of, I don't want to be a hypocrite, because we tell women, don't tell us that they got to do something for us to do something right. Right? We always tell women, like, if you're going to do it, just do it. Don't do it because I do something. So I can't be hypocritical in this moment. So I must say this. A lot of times when you're talking about emotions, right, you got to say, I think you got to value what you're feeling. Like, you have to value. Like, if I love you, I have to tell you, because if I don't tell you, then I'm not putting myself in the best position to have to be in the right position. You understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, like, I always tell people, like, if I see a girl and I really want her, I got to tell her how I feel, because then she can't tell me no or yes. And I think a lot of people are so scared of that no, or so scared of what the outcome might be, that they always protecting themselves. Sometimes you got to value your and validate your feelings good enough. Like, if I'm upset with you and I care about you, I have to let you know I'm upset with you, because I really want you to change it. I don't want to leave you. I don't want to stop talking to you. I want you to change it. So if I don't value the output of, like, I want you, so I want you to change this, then I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna just shut down because I leave. I don't want to talk because I leave. I don't want to do this, because I'm telling you, in a marriage, you got to find a way to talk. You got to find a way to express yourself, because you can't go nowhere. And if you can't go nowhere in your mind, that's your premise, is that we in it for the long haul. I think your emotions would go to be feeling safe, but your emotions, you tend to want to say them more, because the effect affects you more. When I was dating, if I say something, like Chris said, if I say something to a woman and I feel she's not listening to me, it's over. I'm not gonna keep talking when I'm saying this. I'm just going on. But I think now that I'm married, if I say something to my wife and I think she don't listen or she don't hear me right, I try to find another way to do it, or another way to say it, another way. And then maybe that's the reason I can kind of understand that, is because when I was in this position of dating, I felt like Chris, like, bro, I'm not gonna keep asking you, keep telling you, I'm saying this to you. But sometimes when you get in a situation where it's like, I got to get you through this, because if you don't get it, then I have to go. And me leaving this means a whole different thing.
Guess I started my conversation off with that. One, man got to feel safe. That's not a word we use enough. Man got to feel like he can trust you. And he also got to feel like you actually care. So those are three things we missed out on. But I got some pushback on this. It's almost like giving an example of what I meant. How we were raised. We were raised by some real alpha males, some real tough dudes that I ain't see a lot of emotion out. Kevin Samuel had just put a clip up, and it's probably going viral now, where he was like, if you go to your woman, y'all know what I'm talking about, and go being vulnerable and telling her blah, 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 you're going to lose her. So that's kind of like, and that is what most men, like growing up, you're going to meet that kind of uncle or father that's telling you, like, I don't care what happened. Don't go to no woman with your problems or telling her, what's wrong with you, because you're going to lose that woman. Y'all didn't see that clip at all?
You can't bring up Kevin Samuels. It triggers Dr. April.
No, it don't.
Dr. April. Elf Kevin Samuels the last time he was on the show.
No, I did not.
Were you all taught also as kids that men couldn't complain? Like you can't complain to the woman?
100%.
You were shown that nobody cared.
No, you said
it
as kids.
It was shown that nobody gives a damn.
You said as kids. I'm saying we taught that every day, that nobody gives a damn about a man. This is like right now, I'm trying to be fun. Like every day, every part of America is showing you, shut the hell up. I just told Andrew Wiggins to shut the hell up and go back to work. Like nobody can, like, I ain't trying to be funny. Like that's the, like, I feel getting up in the morning. Yeah, I feel my wife care, but I'm saying in the mass production, I feel like, yeah, as a man, bro, shut up and go on about your business. Because people, like Chris said, I think a lot of people do a lot of talking about how they like this, how they want this, how this is the way it is. And I wish women would just listen to men who are not trying to be condescending, not trying to be nasty, or not trying to be provoking or thought-provoking. We don't feel that. We don't feel that women give a damn about what we say. I'm just being real.
But that's so crazy. That's so misconstrued, because it's so many women that's in our circle. We can say, we can't speak for all women, but we can speak from a lot of professional women's standpoint, to where we do care about our Black men. We do, and we wish you guys would actually be vulnerable and have more conversations with us, because this is like the opposite of thinking. And that's why I think it's a lot of times to why the relationship doesn't work. You have so many single women out here. You have so many single brothers out here that can come together and be together if they just communicate with each other and communicate effectively. That's the sad part about it, because we all want the same thing. We all want the same goal. And there's some great women out here that will be emotional toward their men and listen to their men and all of that stuff, and boost him up and motivate him. But I mean, it's crazy. That's a thought process.
Gonzarelli.
Yo. So, Hart, I'm gonna talk on a little bit of what we've spoke on before. Like, as you all know, my brother's married, so he'll talk to you guys from a place we ain't got yet. And he told me some things as far as with marriage, like he explained to you guys. Those conversations that I think that the doctors are asking for are for the individuals that are in serious relationships and trying to get to a certain place. They don't have any problem being emotionally available because they know what they want to be. But if you're in a relationship as a woman, and I can be wrong, and you're seeing all the good attributes in this man and saying, "Ooh, I want him to pour into me," and things like that, y'all haven't stopped to see if he saw the same things into you, and maybe the reason why you're not getting that emotional availability that is being sought after. Because to be honest to you, like you said, if that man is looking for a one night stand, no, I'm not telling you what's going on with me. I'm just showing you all the good things because I want to get some good thing and I'm out of that. But that extra stuff that you're talking about, that's not happening because that goes against everything I said that we would talk. Ain't no pillow talking. I ain't soft. and ain't nothing wrong with me ever, even when something is wrong with me. And that's just, cut and dry how I see it. So I was just sharing that because maybe that gives you guys some insight on vetting better. We talk about that a lot too. Like, is the Joker that I'm looking to be emotionally available, even wanting to do any of that? Do he care about that?
Let me
Those are
ask you
probably
this,
some
Jay.
more important questions.
So
Go
let me
ahead.
flip the script. So what if you have a man who
I'm never gonna have a
has,
man.
well, not you, but I'm saying, okay, what if a female has a man who has been straightforward and told her all about his trauma, his past trauma, his childhood trauma, everything that was going on, let her in, got a little close to her, but then all of a sudden clammed up and disappeared? What do you say about those type of men?
It's something going on with him. I mean,
In him?
it's something going on with him. Yeah, if he clammed up and disappeared, like she said, they were having a great relationship. Am I catching what you're saying correct, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden he clammed up. It's something inside of him. It can't be something she did, because if he did, he'd probably say something. Maybe. Hey, listen, this is my answer, not y'all's. I'm just telling you. So it could be something inside of him that he don't have right. And it could be something that she did. Hopefully he would say to her, but again, you gotta listen to context clues, because guys do say things certain times and women don't hear them. So then he might have felt like, I spoke enough, I'm out of there. Those are just different variations. But again, like I said, it all just starts from,
But I mean, I get
is you
what
at the
you're
right?
saying, but my take is on that he's scared to be vulnerable. It was too much. Like I let my guard down. I told this woman all these things. Now she has leverage to use against me. Yes, I care about her. Yes, I see that she cares about me, but I don't know, because based on my past experiences, I may not ever had a woman to show me that she cared so much. So I can't trust this woman that's actually putting it out there and showing me that she do care.
That's very true, because that may be something that's foreign to him. It's not, it's not normal. So you think that what? It's a trick, or you trying to get over. So then that will cause that. But
Let me ask you
again,
this. Go ahead. I want to say, first of all, we all have our different opinions, right? You're gonna get 3-4 different answers. I'm saying in that scenario, she might have lost his trust. She might have did something, because sometimes men confide in a woman and then she give her opinion, or she try to push him through his trauma. He might not be ready to tackle her. She's trying to push him through the heal, and he's still dealing with it, or he's not ready to get past that. And she's lost. He don't trust her no more, or he doesn't have the courage to push through. Or sometimes, to be honest, I think a lot of times women sometimes paint a picture that ain't there. Like you might have painted a picture, oh, he's doing all of these things, but I do know when a woman likes a dude, she'll lie to herself. And sometimes that scenario ain't really, like, she kind of pushing it further than it is. No, you ain't got to. Everybody got a different answer. So that's my take on it. Because Chris had
it
to
might
look.
be articulation in there with you too, Horace. What you
Huh?
were saying. It may be articulation in there where you were saying that she may have done something to break
Mm-hmm.
his trust, and he doesn't. I'll be the first. I'm one of them, so I'll be the first to say. Sometimes we don't articulate it correctly to the woman for her to understand that. And then, like I said, when it's not understood, then we think that our next mode is escape. I gotta leave because there's no respect here, or there's no whatever. Like Horace said, she might be pushing him too hard at a
Yeah.
point in time, and he ain't ready to go there yet. So he out.
Or say women love to be the hero. That thing might be really tough for him, and then she keeps going back at it. Or she might share it with somebody else. You know what I mean? As women have a lot of trauma, but men have a lot of trauma, and I think it's harder for men to admit that something horrible happened to them. You know what I mean? And I think we deal with, just like you say, we lack emotions. So you have to see that we're going to have a harder time handling something that's traumatic, as where a woman might be looking, to deal with a different way. Go ahead, Chris Leo, because you've been blinking and rolling eyes, everything.
You see this comment down? Put that comment back up, please. This is what happens when you show fear. Fear is an emotion. When you show fear, this is not a concerning comment. This is a condescending comment. It's like last week when Vanessa put up that condescending comment. I don't think she mean harm, but it's just, this is how you react to, if a man shows fear, you mock it. You say, well, you're scared of commitment. That's me displaying an emotion. I'm trying to explain my fear, and you mock it. So this is the reasons why, if you think that men are emotionally unavailable, men are made emotionally unavailable. What I'm saying, they're made like this because, again, no one seemed to see this. Now, as far as your situation, Dr. April, I don't know what's going on in that situation, but what I've learned to always do is never believe what the woman say. So if she said that, is all.
But see, you're not giving us the benefit of the doubt. I don't think she's being condescending. It's just that he could be scared. What's wrong with saying that he's scared?
I just said it's condescending, Dr. April. And that's what I just said. And what you're trying to do now is tell me that, no, you're wrong for what you think. I'm telling you what I think. I'm expressing my feelings to you, Dr. April. Stop correcting me, telling me I'm wrong. Please, can you stop doing that?
Okay, Chris.
If you don't mind. I love you.
Dr. Manning. Dr. Manning, you've been too quiet.
Well, I'm listening because I feel how I feel. And the comment that you made earlier about, we just like the bad guy. All of us don't. Like, I don't want the bad guy. I don't want you see the Sierra Future and Russell situation, and a lot of people are saying she was dressed the way she was dressed because honestly, she's with the wrong guy. She's with the nice guy, but she really doesn't want the nice guy. Some of us don't want the bad guy. We want the person. I mean, we want there to be a balance. You have your hard side, but you also have your vulnerability, if you will. Your pillow talk, your coming home and being honest and saying those things that, both support us so we can support each other. So I've had a bad guy before, but I see the difference, and that's not what I want. I feel like the maturity piece is there. And so I want a man that has balance.
Well, we seen you with a man. Can you tell us about the one that we seen you with?
There you go.
Hello, he's here.
Boss hog. Right in the picture. Salute my brother. You got your catch.
Damn, Chris.
What do you want to know about him?
No, it's okay. I just throw it out there. I just like because every now and then, a little jab.
She damn sure bless you, Chris.
Yeah.
Amber, I like what Amber said. She said it's called balance.
I want to know this because I'm just a man, and I don't never try to be a woman or think like a woman. So I always ask women their perspective. So what y'all describing me is what every woman all my life since I've turned 30 said they want. But just statistically, if it's more men in this world than women, people don't have to have this real conversations. Statistically, you're asking for the cream of the crop. A man who's balanced, who probably loves you, but to protect you. A man who listens, but defends you. Like you want a guy who's emotionally sound, but can get out there and play and then giggle and mingle amongst the people when you take him into any environment, work or to the hood. You want the cream of the crop when it's considered to a man. So every woman wants the cream of the crop. How do you think you can get that? And if you can't get the cream of the crop, how willing are you to accept, like, he may not be balanced. He might be 60-40. He might be 70-30. He might be on one way or the other. But why is that guy never talked about as a guy worth having? When if a man says he wants the cream of the crop, then we being shallow. We being too greedy. We just don't. We scared. We scared to commit. We don't know a good thing when we see one. But why we want what we feel is balance? Then why we can't just have our balance? Why women got to tell us what our balance is? And if we don't want that, then we're a bad guy. That's a question for the ladies.
The only thing we ask Mario is that he be emotionally available. We didn't say none of that other stuff.
No, dog.
You get to tell us what's emotionally available.
She won't balance. You won't balance. And that's the truth. I heard a lot of women say exactly what Dr. Tamika just said. They want balance. They want a bad guy, but not one going to prison. They want a guy that's gonna talk, but not talk too much.
Not too
They
much.
want a guy that's short, but he don't gotta be 6 foot. That's what you want. The perfect. You want the guy that you can take around your homegirls, and they like him, but he don't talk too much to them, or he don't flirt with them. You want that great balance. That guy, the guy that he lay the pillow talk with you, but he stand up with his back like this. I'm saying those guys exist. I'm not saying you two beautiful women don't deserve them. All I'm saying is, if every woman in the world want those. Because almost every woman I talk to, if you ask Amber, balance. First word. Every woman want balance.
Yes, Amber.
You can't all have it. So what? So what then?
We didn't say perfect. We didn't say he had to be perfect.
No, balance.
Yeah, but balance ain't perfect.
I want you to be able to protect
balance
me.
ain't perfect though, right?
I want to feel safe. As a woman, we want to feel safe.
I understand that. I'm saying, what happened if you can't get 50-50? I want to
you
know, are you willing to take a 40-60? That's what you're evading the question. I'm saying, if you can't get balance, which end are you willing to take less on?
I mean, 60-40, I can work with that.
On which end?
He has to be emotionally available. We can work with anything if he's emotionally available.
As long as he's 6 feet, too, right?
Don't say that.
And it got to be 6 feet.
No, he don't have to be 6 feet.
Well, I want to know this, Dr.
Well, okay, on that one.
See, there we go.
Okay.
Well, Dr. April, you talk to a lot of men. How many men you think?
I'm extremely tall. I'm a tall woman. So
I mean, it is men that are emotionally available.
No, I'm getting rid of all the emotionally balanced 5'5"ers. They gone. And then we got all the emotionally balanced married men, the gay men gone, the emotionally balanced guys that just want to sleep around. So that's the big ass dating pool you get to fish in there, doctor.
I want to know this, Dr. Gibbons. What percentage would you say the guys that come into your office are emotionally available for you to think that it's a good percentage?
I mean, I think it's a lot because first of all, you have to be emotionally available in order to seek therapy.
You could be emotionally horrible, and then that's when you're asking for help.
Not necessarily. You have to have some level of awareness.
I'm saying you can be. You could be a guy that shut down. Like, he could be talking to you and his girl feel like he's emotionally undeveloped. Is that true?
Yeah, you're right. That
could
be true in some situations, but I'm talking about the men who seek therapy on their own individually, not coming in as a couple. But
no. I'm saying
alone.
I'm saying Zay often always say, "I want to, but I don't know how to." So until Zay gets into the seat with you, it's not going to be the first visit. So that means he's going to go back home to his girl and be emotionally unavailable for that next couple weeks, a couple sessions, that's what I'm saying. So it could be men who go to you and they not available. So I'm just saying, how many men you come to you that's not emotionally unavailable when they walk through the door?
Mario, can I add a
I'm still saying not that many, because most men who come, they already have that level of awareness that the first step is understanding who you are and knowing, okay, these are some flaws and this is what I need to work on. And like you said, some men do come and they can communicate with me and tell me all that, but then can go home to their girlfriend or their wife and still clam up.
Mm-hmm.
It may take a little bit until he decides to open up to her, but he's learning and he's communicating his thoughts and his feelings and being vulnerable enough to open up so he can start to heal. That's the first step.
We've seen people lose their women.
In the U.S., only 14.5% of men are 6 feet tall and over. So that's going to kind of add to y'all issue.
Can't be broke.
Well, I say this. And to your, because I that was a great answer, Dr. April. So one more question, I'm gonna let it go. So that means, would you say a lot of men go to therapy?
Yeah, I would. Yes, I would. I think it's more and more men.
That's a myopic view.
Yeah.
This is amazing because I'm learning stuff I never learned. I hear so many times men need to go to therapy. Men don't go to therapy.
Your practice is pumping.
This is amazing.
It is. My practice is pumping. I ain't tripping.
Dr. April fixed my life.
Hey, I just need my own show. Come on. Seriously, it is a lot of men that are coming to therapy.
I probably know 2 people out of the 102 people I know that they go to therapy. That's amazing odds you got over there, sister. Out of all the men I know, I might know 2.
Well, but see, that's you.
Right. I'm just saying me.
That's why I said that's go to therapy, they want to be better.
Mm-hmm.
somebody just said. They do. They do. They want to work on themselves. There's nothing wrong with therapy.
It ain't. I'm just saying, I don't think it's a large group of men that go. That's all
Can I
I'm
ask
saying.
the age range? Can I ask the average age range of men that's in therapy?
I would
Black
say
men?
the average age range of men that are in therapy ranges from 25 to 35.
I can't believe that.
I
Because
believe
at
it.
25,
She's giving
35,
you her.
dudes
She's giving you
still
25 to 35. I can only speak for my practice.
okay.
Right.
Like I say 25 to 35. And honestly, I feel like, hey, the younger men have it more together than the older ones. Because at least the younger ones are willing to figure out what their flaws are. And a lot of times those younger men are really amped to jump in and commit to their women. And they're not out here sleeping around and messing with one woman to the next woman. They are
Because they like
honed
men.
into that one woman that they
You know
want.
why? You know why?
And they tender.
Because they're not sleeping with women anymore.
Yeah, thank you,
Both of those
Chris.
women are sleeping with older men. So the amount of women that they can possibly sleep with
Right, Darren Jones.
is dwindling down. So that's what makes them according to you, I guess, act differently.
You're dealing with a lot of tender dicks. I didn't want to say the word, but that's what we call it. The whole phenomenon going on, the 25 to 35-year-olds. So they are a little emotional and they want to get in therapy. They're in there crying. They ain't even went through nothing in life yet. They in there crying on your couch.
But you don't know that. You'd be surprised some of the trauma that people experience from their environment, from growing up as teenagers, some of the childhood trauma. So no, I wouldn't put that stereotype out there that just because they're young, that doesn't mean that they haven't went through life. Some people are forced to grow up real quick because of their environment and their circumstances.
And I saw the comment, I thought the older ones would be in therapy more.
Right.
Probably not, because a lot of older people are set in their ways and they've had already a ton of divorces and they just feel like I am who I am. So no, I don't need therapy. So that sounds right. That age range sounds right.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to go down that road. I got to do this. Derek said my pastor was my therapist. You know, I do think spiritually you can get some guidance with therapy for some people. I just think it's dangerous to go to everybody. You know, maybe I'm kind of proving you. I think it's dangerous to go to everybody when you vulnerable and looking for some help. And you know, who's to say every pastor is going to give you the skills that you need to get better? So I do hate that happened to a lot of us growing up, that we're taught to go to the pastor and, you know, instead of going to therapy growing up. That's just my
separation of church and state, maybe at that point. But I don't know. I'm just saying. Dr. April, I think what you're saying is right. I was listening to what you were saying. And you were saying that the younger guys are more in tune with that therapy than us. And I think you're right. It's easier to give birth than to raise the dead. And a lot of the older dudes, we are dead. We nail us to the cross. But the younger guys, you know, therapy is a hot topic right now. The reason why I'm saying that. So as this is out there, they're thinking, you know what? Maybe it is all right to go and go get therapy. Where you know you got some old dogs that just like, I ain't doing that. There's nothing wrong with me, and can't get the fix. That's why me and Mario are amazed that, like you said, so you run into so many men, but that is your practice. You are thriving. We see you get shout outs all the time for your practice. So, you know, you're talking to us from what you see. So that can probably help someone that's watching our program right now probably take that next step, or, you know, probably check themselves either way.
All right. Before the estrogen leaves our screen tonight, I got a quick question for y'all. I want y'all to be honest with me because this came from a female viewer. Dr. Givens, Dr. Manning, do women marry up or down? Because it says because men marry up on looks, not monetary. Because men don't marry what they consider ugly unless you got money. This comes from a female viewer. So, do women marry up or down? I want y'all perspective.
I think it all depends on the woman. It's and where she's at in life. You know, honestly, her, and not just from a financial standpoint, but more of a mental and spiritual standpoint. It's what she wants. What does she feel like she deserves? What she's gonna put up with, what she's gonna take if she feels like she's settling, her worth, her self-esteem. Like all of that plays a number in how women choose their partners.
Dr. Manning.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It's just preference. I mean, I have friends that they like blue collar workers, and then I have friends that look only for professional guys. And a lot of my friends are well educated, master's degrees, some of them doctoral degrees. They work in professions. It's just kind of my circle. But it's kind of half and half. It just depends. I mean, for the most part, I think women wish to marry up, if that's the case. But again, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. So a lot of women do settle for someone who is attentive, who's there, who's available. And it depends also, again, looking at the age range. Are we talking about younger women? Are we talking about middle-aged women? It just kind of depends on where you are in life. It's hard to just kind of nail that one down and say this is what a woman is looking for. Because all of my friends, we all have different tastes. Some like light, some like dark, some like tall, some don't care. So it just kind of depends.
All right. Now watch these answers be a little different, possibly. Chris Leo.
Let's
The
count.
women marry up or down?
Cap. And they're not getting on nail knee. They're not buying nail ring. They're not going out there hollering at nobody. They are marrying who acts. That's all they're doing. They are marrying who acts. They're trying to find the best person who acts them. Stop talking about some they marrying up or down, because they can only marry someone that acts them. Until they get out there and go hunt and kill their own food, then no, I marry who I want. I do it because I go pick the one I want. They are going to pick the one that picks them, the best out of the one that picks them. And some of them get married because that's the only one that asks them to marry them.
But you know what?
And they said yes because of this. So they don't care. They marry up or down. They marry who asks them.
I'm gonna agree with you on this one only because I've counseled someone that was in that situation. Now they're not together now, and when asking, her like why did she get married, end up getting divorced, she said, well, he asked. I didn't necessarily love him. I felt like I could grow to love him, but he asked, so I said okay.
All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna ask somebody to the screen. They late to the party, but I'm gonna throw you in there anyway. Dr. Cook.
Oh, I love that hair.
First of all, I did not see this on IG till late. Second of all, I was looking at scraggly mess. Third of all, I have a new computer and I can't figure this out, so I'm on my phone, but all those excuses are not reasons. Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hi.
Look, do women marry up or down?
Do women marry up or down?
Yep.
I would hope they marry up. I mean,
dissertation, we need it.
I mean, you didn't say they marry lateral. We don't make lateral moves, so we're not making no lateral moves, and I got to choose between up and down. I'm not going to choose down. I mean, I'm going to choose up. So you didn't give me a lot of choices with that one. You want to find somebody that, here's my thing. You don't have to find somebody, for me, like you don't have to find somebody that's wealthy, but you want somebody that can provide if something happens to you, or you want somebody that can take the reins if you can't take the reins. And I'm not saying you can't do that if you're down, because you may not have a lot of money, but you may be crafted with your hands. I get that part as well. But at the same time, you still want to marry somebody going in. You want somebody that can meet you at the table. And since I didn't meet me at the table, then I want somebody above the table. Horace.
Oh,
I love it.
This is a female viewer question. Good God, my Zay, the international ladies man.
Hey, Dr. TC, first and foremost, I think Horace put you by me because he knew you were going to have some technical difficulties like I normally do. So that was refreshing to hear.
It's that cancer thing. We on the same page.
My dog. That's why you my dog. But I think Chris right though. Chris said a mouthful, and a lot of people don't like to hear Chris mouthful, but it was right this time. Yeah, women don't have no choice in the matter. I don't really believe. The only choice that they have is saying yes or no. While that man is down on his knee, marrying, and I've seen all of it. I've seen women married for the money. And I've also seen women married, like you said, because the Negro act. But I think that, and I could be wrong because I've never been a girl a day in my life. I think that all women have this fantasy of being married one day, and you just don't know to who and when. So when that guy does come around, he looks like that knight in shining armor because he did all of the things that it took to be a knight in shining armor, and he asked the question. Now it's all up to you to answer it. Now, he may not have all that money in the beginning. You may be one of those women that fall in love with the ambitious side of things and say that eventually he'll come to that point, or you just don't care. But I don't think that they really have a say after he says, "Will you marry me?" They only say they have is yes or no, but most of them are gonna say yes. That's just my
Super
dissertation,
Mario,
and I could be wrong.
Super Mario, give me some wisdom.
Well, oh, damn. Well, I think marrying down is a rich man's game. I think most men marry up. I think if you marry down, you probably got a lot of money because you don't care about what a woman brings. You only need them to serve a service. So most time, a man who marries down, he probably got a lot of cash, and he's using her for a service and not for a mate. But most men who are par or like I ain't gonna say broke, but just an average, subpar man, just a good man who owns common ground, they're gonna probably marry up because I think the women that we looking for, we gonna, like Chris said, we're the askers, so we get to choose. That's why it'd be so funny when I hear women in the the women that actually want to be married talk as if they have any leverage. That'd be amazing to me because until women start willing to get on their knees and ask men to be married, you don't have no leverage. No matter how good of a woman you are, you can't be married until a man asks you. So you can be emotionally stable, emotionally crazy, emotionally tall, emotionally short. It don't matter until a man asks you. If you're not willing, some women are willing to ask a man. Then they leverage on them. But if you're not willing to ask a man, then you don't have no leverage because no matter what, like you have to pick out of the men that's willing to ask you. So I think that most men, and this is maybe the fault of why we so far apart in marriage, most men, once we get to around that 35 age, this is not something that's just not it's taboo because people act like they don't know this. Most women start putting their flag in the ground saying and talking about family and how much they want to be married. And most men feel the power dynamic switch to them and say, aha, I've been chasing and I've been looking and I've been running, but now I hold the power. The average woman I bump into need me to make them a wife. So then that's when you get men who probably never had power or never had that kind of power. They get power stricken. And so now they go out in the world and then they have the pickings that they never picked. Like a lot of dudes never had this much options when it comes to women. But now that you become the marrier, shoot, you can just go out there. You can be subpar and you can still, because I don't know too many men who get told no. Right. So that's just why I feel most men marry me up. And if you're rich, you can marry down.
What I say all the time, all you need is $2, 2 teeth, and some common sense, boy. You looking like some gold out here. But a wise man once said, and he really changed my perspective on things. A wise man said, Chris Leo, women control what?
Access to sex.
And men control what?
Access to marriage. I like to use the terminology access to the box and access to the rock.
Nah, I like that, man. Wise words were spoken. So yeah, I think that's true. Women, y'all control sex. Men control marriage. What'd you say, Zay?
Turn your mic on.
Yeah, you got it.
A professional.
420 was the other day, Horace. You're rubbing off on me.
I don't know what they got to do with me, but okay. All right, listen. I wanted to say that because a female viewer asked in, and we thought one day, man, we just got to take that plunge. Before we get off air, we might get banned. Hey, before we leave this show, bonus question. I'm gonna make it fast. Only if I'm talking about the question. Ladies, answer this question. Women leave men when they get money and can provide for themselves. A female viewer asked that. She say, why when y'all get money and can provide for y'all, say y'all oftentimes are more known to leave the man. Dr. Manning.
Oh, well, I mean, first. So when we get money, we're more prone to leave the man.
Yep. Y'all probably threaten them all the time. I'm gonna leave your ass. I'm out of here.
So I need the scenario though. Like, is it because he was no good? Because I'm leaving for a reason. So, but you're saying that I'm more willing to stay there if I don't have money and take his mess, but I can go when I get money. Is that what she's asking? Do you know?
I had no idea, but I will say I know a whole heap of people down here with 2 and 3 degrees. They let you know on the first date or every chance they get how they got degrees, they got money, and they looking for a man that's gonna bring something to the table. Got to be equal. You got to be 6 feet. You got all them things, and she don't need a man for nothing. And my dog always say he wish she'd never get one, but maybe that's the scenario you're talking about. Once she gets a certain amount of success, that's how she defines herself, and she's more
Well,
prone to leave a guy. I'm just
so
assuming.
from my standpoint, of course, if I can take care of myself and there is something going on there, then yeah, I'm probably more prone to leave because I am, basically self-sufficient. However, money is not everything, and me being able to take care of myself is not the only thing that a woman is concerned with. We want to make. I don't care how much money we have. We want to be rich women. Look at all these celebrities. They still want to be with someone. It's not I want to leave just because I'm self-sufficient. No, we want to be able to work with someone. But if we can't and we have money to take care of ourselves, then of course, yeah, we are gonna leave if there's an issue. So yeah.
All right, I just want to say from my outside looking in, there's a lot of successful women that want penis. They don't really desire a man anymore. But Dr. TC.
Turn your mic on.
Turn your mic on.
Dr. TC.
I'm so confused right now. I agree with Dr. Tamika that unless there's something wrong, I don't necessarily agree with her statement, because I feel like if you're in a relationship or you're married to someone and you all have been together all this time and everything is great, and now you have more degrees and you have more money, then that means that you all together as a couple are more of a power couple. So why would I leave that looking for something, hoping that the grass is greener on the other side when it's not guaranteed to be greener? I'm only going to be looking to leave if I was looking to leave anyway, but wasn't financially able to leave. And now I feel like I am, and now I can throw it into your face. That's the only thing I can come up with in that situation.
Dr. Givens, before I give it to the guy, pass it to the guy.
Well, I agree with what Dr. Tamika said also, but at the same time, I think women put up with a lot of stuff, whether or not they're financially stable or not. And it depends on the circumstances. I've seen some of everything in counseling, and I've had a couple female, very successful, and husband, just was not good. And the scenario is that, she knew that she didn't really want to be in a relationship, but because she has small kids, she needs the help. And she doesn't have a support system, family around to be able to support her to where she can just up and move with 2 small kids. So it's like, okay, let me stick it out and try to work on it, because I need the assistance. I need the help. Everybody's not out here able to be a single parent or even wanting to be a single parent. Some people feel like, hey, I need that other parent. They help me make the baby. So even though I can financially support us and my kids, I don't want to the emotional support as well. So I'm going to stay in this relationship.
Dr. Chris Leo.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about this subject because they leave for all different type of reasons. So I don't count that. I just think that it's interesting. If you listen to all the ladies, they said when they decided to leave, it was something the man did. Yet in the previous scenario, when that man decided to leave, who did we point the fault to? Right back to him. So I just think it's weird how when the woman decides to leave, it's something that the man did, but when the man is emotionally unavailable, it's still something that he did. It's not something that the woman did.
Super Mario.
I don't know. I thought this seemed like a question for women. So
you still get your take on it because when she said she didn't, it was a broad question. I'm saying that I observe a lot of women that right now, the ones that are so successful, they're not looking for relationships. They'll tell you straight up, they got a little friend here, they got their own everything, a new car, house, and they're not looking. And when they do talk, so I'm not trying to answer to nobody. I'm not trying to be dealt with.
I agree, Horace. Anybody know? I know a lot of men who I would say good, solid men, right? Like I think Dr. April said this earlier. That's the sad part. And I know so many good women. Like some of the women that she speak of. Like I'm talking about, like educated, smart, beautiful women that caring, loving, want to be a good mate. Like I know a lot of those, right? And I know that one on the right and one on the left. And I hear the people on the left saying this, and I hear the people on the right saying this. Then I say both to both parties, and both parties swear to God that they both lying. So then I'll be sometimes be like, man, I don't know how you get to the middle, because men saying women don't do this and women saying, yes, we do. Y'all don't do this. Then yes, we do. Y'all don't do this. It's like, I don't know how you get to a middle point, because it's like right now, that's why I was so happy. That's why I shut up when Dr. April said a lot of men, she has more men coming into her practice than anything. I said, well, that's good. I'm happy to hear that, because maybe we walking into the right direction of reconciliation and relationship. So I don't know. I know that didn't answer your question, but I just want to say that before, though. I was happy to hear that she sees a lot of men that's taking the step to say they want to do whatever it takes to get right, to get married, I guess.
Zay, you got some insight before we wrap up?
No, Mario is pretty much on point. I mean, I talk about that all the time as far as, stop talking about it, being about it. And if that's what you want to do, work toward that. I honestly just think it's sad, though, when women have that depiction in their mind that I got all the money that I need. I can do this by myself. So stupid to me. I'm saying, I'm not saying that's their first thought. The fact that thought even comes out is dumb to me. Because, like I said, the women that I know, at least, so I'll speak from my myopic view, most of them want to get married. If you want to get married, you do the things it takes to get married. You got a little money, good. That's y'all money to help y'all do better in life. Stop putting the mind in there when it's supposed to be y'all, like Hardy said. Like, just do what you need to do to get what you want out of life. I've said that so many times on the podcast that it just don't make no sense to me. But if you think that because you have money and you can do it all on your own, is the way, by all means, have at it. But if you want to try the other way, you got to do something different to get a different result. That's all they. But again, that's just it. Go ahead, Horace.
No, that's all I got. I got those two female viewer questions off my lap, and good. Dr. TC, we're glad that you did come on, and I am interested. I want to bring you guys on and let y'all ask us the questions, because we do always get good feedback when y'all come on. Because y'all say what women want to hear, even if I don't agree. I know it's good dialogue, and it's good for the ratings. Yes, Dr. Cook.
Yes, Dr. TC.
Wait, Dr. TC. Unmute your mic.
I wasn't talking. I'm just sitting here just listening to you just rant on and make these generalizations. I'm just sitting here listening.
Call me General Lee. Hey, so thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Back Super Friend. Before we go, I'm going to go to the ladies first, get them the closing comments. Let them know about the Chambers Talk Show. Let them know about the affirmations that we always get. Dr. Manning winning an award for her Corvette.
I did not. I did not win.
Dr. April's book.
You didn't win?
My friend, the president of the club, she won. She's into competing and putting her car in the shows and the competitions. I just drive. So
you pose like the winner though, so I thought you won. Go look at the picture. She posed like she done won everything.
I can pose. I compose. But I wanted to address real quick. You said closing comments. Okay, yeah, do go out and follow us. The Chamber Talk Show on YouTube. We got a reality something coming up soon. We got some new things in the works coming up with the Chamber as well. Go out, buy my book. Go out, buy Dr. April's book. My book is called Mentally Fit. When we're talking about therapy, the holistic approach to wellness. Thank you guys for bringing us on tonight. But Derek, that is not true. He said when women got it, they don't want a good man. We do want a good man. I don't care how much money we have. So yeah, I just had to address that. But yeah.
Okay, most men feel that way. Dr. Cook, Dr. TC.
I don't really have any closing remarks. I don't have the chamber. I don't have everything, but I am working on a book of poetry, so I'll let you all know when it comes out.
Dr. April Givens, give us a closing comments and our affirmation.
Okay, well, my closing comment is yes, go out and get my self-help journal. It is where books are sold everywhere, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. It's called Strategies and Tips to Improve Your Overall Well-Being. So it helps you with any issue that you have that arise in life. It has tips and tools and also the ability for you to fruit write. So being able to journal is great. It's therapeutic, helps you process and heal some things. So the affirmation for today is I am making positive changes in my life.
All right. If both of y'all, any of you guys do a 30-minute to 1 minute video, we will share it, especially about your books. We will post it on the Black Super Friends Network and advertise it. I definitely got some people on this screen that I would buy a book for personally. Right on time. I will buy her 2 books. Thank you, Mia, for joining us. Definitely gonna get a book.
Where you been hiding, Mia?
Don't say it. What's it? How is it? Candyman 5 times. All right, Super Mario.
Hey, thank y'all. Thank y'all as usual. Every time y'all come on, we have a great show. So thank y'all. Thank y'all. And thank y'all. Put the mugs up, fellas. Now this is getting redundant. I need everybody to buy a damn mug. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. See, people always say, you know what, we're just looking for a black man to do something so we can support him. Well, I don't hear my cash app singing right now. So I need everybody to support black men trying to have a positive black voice. You might know we could be doing a lot of other stuff right now, but we're trying to come to you and we're bringing y'all smart, intelligent women, not city girls. So at least thing y'all can do is buy a mug. And shout out to Dr. April, because I did watch your interview with my homeboy TK, and that was a good interview. Good job, man. You know, he's a friend of the podcast too. So hey, we proud of y'all as always. You know what I'm saying? All y'all ladies and everything y'all do. We happy to know y'all. So come back and see us again.
We will. How can we get the mug? How do we get the mug?
Chris Leo.
Come, little one. Come.
Jamaican Zay. You got to turn on your mic.
Website right now. You got to stop turning it off. Listen, I love you ladies coming on. I appreciate y'all. Me and Mario are such good friends because we pretty much had the same clothes. And I was going to tell y'all to get a mug. And for our ladies that were on, I love that y'all shared the information that y'all have on y'all platform. And it was this thing that y'all used to do for us a while ago where y'all would share, like, you know, Black Super Friends podcast thing. I seen that it kind of dwindled down. So I'm begging you guys tonight, if y'all can just put it back up for us again. Chris is going to give you the Cash App information so that you can get your lovely mug. It's personalized. See, mine says Zay, the international ladies man. Nobody else drinking out this mug but me. When you get yours, it's going to be the same thing. And for everybody else that's watching that ain't bought a mug and ain't sharing and ain't tagging nobody like we asked, we see y'all. Just know. But thank y'all for spending the time with us. We know we went long. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome. Thank y'all.
Well, first of all, I want to fly to Dallas and come on the show, come on the Chambers Talk Show live. Yes. I want to come on a live show. Okay.
Yes. All right. We want y'all to come. Let's collaborate. Let's get it together.
Chris Leo, you about to have technical difficulties.
And I didn't get my closing comments. That's all I'm saying.
I was coming to you. That's what a host does, facilitates.
My bad.
All right? This is what I'm talking about. It happened with the Temptations. It happened with the Heartbeats. It's always that goddamn one person. All right? Then we got the Vanisher because they stay with us. We almost to the end. Guess Chris Leo. It's your turn.
Jimmy Butler dropped 56 points tonight. Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat is up 3-1 on the number 1 seed in the East, man. Yeah, look, I know this ain't what we was talking about this show, but the Miami had Dwayne Wade, Shaq. Ain't nobody ever dropped this many points as Jimmy Butler, 56, man. Big shout out to y'all. Again, I appreciate you ladies for coming on the show. What I would like to see is the Chambers Talk Reloaded. Now that you dropped the first 2 members like NWA, let's bring in TC. Who is he though? Never mind. But yeah, let's bring in TC. Let's get that thing back pumping. Thank you guys for coming. Like my brother said, buy a mug, use some drugs. Here's a hug.
All right. Well,
you don't have to have a hug, TC.
There it is.
What's up? What is? I mean,
yeah, that's Tuesday, Chris. That's Chris.
Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Hey, next Sunday we want y'all to jump. Maybe not. Is it next Sunday? We want y'all to jump on our show. We're doing a show on where do you meet in your midlife? Where do you meet people? Like, how do you meet and maintain relationships once you hit your 40s? Because a lot of people are struggling with that, and so we're getting ready to do a show trying to get a relationship therapist to come on. Kind of talk more about it. But anyway, y'all think about it, put it on your schedules. I'll shoot you a message, Horace, and we can maybe collaborate on that. I think that'll be a great show. And then we can help push y'all's mug as well.
Send me the link to the books, man. I promise I buy them.
Okay. All right.
I was gonna say, Dr. Tamika, you gotta pose by the mug like you pose by the Corvette. We gonna sell out. I promise you. Hit my hand to God.
Right.
I can do that.
I would love to be on the show. I'm shedding trees like it's training camp. I want no more friends. We getting low every season. A friend is gone. Liabilities, less Christmas gifts. So hey, thank y'all for joining. All right,
thank you guys. Have a great night. Thank y'all for having us.
Dr. Manning,
we gotta say goodbye first, and then you can go.
You do know we go backstage, Dr. Manning.
Okay.
Well, she do have
to go beat some.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what it is. The late bird, the early bird. Yeah.